Hey guys, Bird Yu-Gi-Oh here. So today I'm coming at you with my DDD deck. This is a fairly budget deck right now. You don't have to play cards like Christian Needle Fiber or a lot of really expensive extra deck cards. There's really not too many. And then with the new support we got, which is all very cheap as well, this deck is really powerful, really consistent. And yeah, let's get right into it. So starting off with one of the newest cards and one of the best cards ever printed for the deck, Griffin. So it's a level 4, which comes up because you do go into your rank 4 Xyz quite a bit. But basically, you have 3 effects that you're going to be using, trying to use them all. Because basically, so if you control a DD monster, you can just straight up special summon him from your hand, which is really good on its own. Then if he's pendulum summoned, you can discard a DD or Dark Contract and draw a card. And then if he's special summoned from the graveyard, you can add any DD card from your deck to your hand. So those are all very feasible to do, and it's an amazing card. Definitely 3 of Griffin. We also play 3 Kepler. You always want to open this card because it's a really good searcher. For any Dark Contract, basically, if this card is normal or special summoned, is what you're using this for. It's also a decent high scale if you want that. And then the other card we want to open with, if we can, is Copernicus. And obviously, opening both of these is really good as well, Copernicus and Kepler. But this one is basically when it's normal or special summoned, it'll allow you to send any DD or Dark Contract card from your deck to the graveyard. Normally, honestly, that's going to be, of course, it depends on your hand, but Swirl Slime is a really good target for that, because then you can just banish this and special summon, a Kepler if you have that, and that's just a really, really good opening right there. He's also a level 4, which again comes up with our Xyz plays. Another level 4 pendulum we're playing is, I play 2 Orthros. He's a tuner. It's also a really good way. So you just, when he's up in the pendulum scale, you can just target a spell and trap on the field and one other Dark Contract or DD card you control and destroy them. So it's a good way of getting rid of like a problematic card. And again, he's also a level 4 low scale, so really nice. And he's a tuner, so decent card. And then for the one-ofs, which are just kind of like so we want to open, honestly, these cards. And then these are just cards that are nice if we open, or searching them is obviously what we would rather. But Ragnarok is one that generally is used in the pendulum scale, mostly because that's just the easiest way to get him out, or use him, because when he's in the pendulum scale, if you special summon, your opponent takes half battle damage, but then you can just special summon any DD monster from your graveyard. So he's just a really, really good combo piece. King Apocalypse, another decent one for just getting another DD monster on board, because his pendulum scale effect is you can just banish 2 DD monsters from your graveyard and special summon this from your pendulum zone, so that's decent sometimes. Thomas is a really good pendulum because basically you can just add a face-up DD pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand, so it allows you to reuse any of these cards, and it's a good way of getting Griffin back. So like say you summon him out, make a Gilgamesh, set Thomas, and then you can add that back to hand, so then you can then pendulum summon him, get that effect off, and then hopefully get him to grave and then be able to use that. So yeah, Thomas is really important, but you don't need more than one because you can always search him when you need. I play 1 Cerberus. It's again another level 4, which is really important, but then he can also, when he's in the pendulum scale, you can target a DD you control and you can change its level to 4. And then it will gain 400 attack and defense. But yeah, that's again just nice for your Xyz plays, which are actually very important for this deck. That's it for the pendulum monsters that we're playing. I'll kind of move this like that. For the non-pendulum DD monsters we're playing, we play, of course, 3 Swirl Slime. Always good. You can fuse with it in hand and any other DD monster. And then you can banish this from your graveyard and special summon any DD monster from your hand. So very, very good card, very important. And then just one Necro Slime. This is one you can fuse if it's in your graveyard. You can banish this and any other DD monster, and then special summon a DD fusion. So really nice there. Lamia is now just a really good extender. You can of course, take Lamia and like Apocalypse and go into a level 8 synchro, but generally you're just using this as another DD monster. It's just a free summon from your hand or grave, really nice. And then the last monster we're playing for the ddds is Vice Typhoon. This is again just another one. It's another level 7, so you can make your level 8 synchros. But basically, you kind of want this in the graveyard because you can just fuse with it to make a level 8 or higher fusion monster, which in this case is our High King Genghis. Sorry, I couldn't find it. So yeah, it's just an easy way of getting out another monster that can then special summon another one from the grave. Really good card. And then for the last monsters that we're playing, they're of course hand traps. I'm deciding to play 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Ghost Ogre, and then a trap, but hand trap as well. 3 Infinite Impermanence. You have to play hand traps in this deck. I was playing against this deck at my last locals this last week, and going second is terrible for this deck. I was actually playing dinos against this, and I set up a decent board. Not too much though, knowing dinos, but I had Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and I think I had another negate on board or something like that. But they just didn't know what to do. It's really hard to figure out what to do. So yeah, going second, you definitely need hand traps, and you just need hand traps anyway. If you can end a board decent and have a couple hand traps, you should be sitting pretty good. But yeah, this deck has a real hard time going second. And then the final cards we're playing are 3 Dark Contract with Gate. It just simply allows you to add any DD monster from your deck to your hand. Swamp King is a way of allowing you to fuse, and you not always, but most of the time want to fuse into the Genghis. So once you get him out and you special summon any other DD monster, you can then just special summon one from the grave, and that's really important in this deck, just gaining you advantage. Then another new card, Patent License. If your opponent special summons a monster with the same card type as a DDD monster you control, you can inflict 1,000 damage, and then while this card is on the field, your opponent can't special summon monsters with the same type as that monster for the rest of the turn. So this is one of those decks that can make, Synchros, Xyz, Link, Fusion, all of those. And so if you have all those, whatever your opponent makes first, they're pretty much, they can't special summon with that same type. So this is really cool. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, you can just simply add a DD monster from your graveyard or face up in your Pendulum Zone, or face up in your extra deck. So it's just a really good card to have. And then 1-for-1 is just free monsters to the grave, and then free special summon of like a Lamia or a Necro Slime, or your Kepler. So you have a lot of really strong targets for 1-for-1. And the final card is another new one. That's Headhunt. This card is insane. So if you control a DDD monster, which you almost always will, you just target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and you take control of it until the end phase of the next turn. Its effects are negated, it can't declare an attack. But if that monster was special summoned from the extra deck, it's treated as a DDD monster, which then allows you to go into link plays with it. But probably the best thing would be to just slap one of your Machine X just right on top of that monster so they don't get it back. So yeah, This card is crazy, and it's really, really good. You only play one, though, because you're just going to search it whenever you need it. And that's it for the main deck. For the extra, we play, of course, the 3 Gilgamesh. So you're really going to use his effect, obviously, just one time. But then you're going to use him to then send your other pieces to the grave. Your other XYZ monsters to the grave. So you're going to go through in your main combo all 3 of them just to get all your advantage, all your effects off. And it's just a really, really good card. We play 2 Flame King Genghis. Again, this is usually one you want to go into fairly quickly because when you special summon another DD monster, you can just special summon one from grave. So you're really, really good. We play 1 Flame High King Genghis. Again, that's our level 8 DDD fusion monster. And he again has that same effect where you can target a DDD in your monster in your graveyard and special summon it when you normal or special summon one to your field while you have him. So really good. And then I played a Oracle King just to help with life points that you're losing. That's the main reason I'm playing him. High attack, and he allows you to gain those life points. So say you have Dark Contract, you'll take 1,000 damage, but then you'll gain it off of him. So it's nice to have. And then for our synchros, Siegfried is insane. You're going to target a face-up spell and trap on the field, and its effects are negated until the next standby phase. So basically negates any spell and trap. Really nice. And then for the level 10, I'm choosing to play High King Alexander. Again, it's a 10 that you can go into, and it has a similar effect to Genghis, where if you special summon a DDD monster or normal summon, you can target one in a graveyard and special summon it. He's also cool if 3 or more DDD monsters on the field, he gains 3,000 attack, so he'll become a 6,000 attack beater. And that's not too difficult to get 3 DDD monsters on the field. So it's just kind of cool target. And again, with Gilgamesh, you're locked into special summoning DDD monsters. And this is a very key component of your combo. So it's going to be hard for you to make cards like Baron de Fleur if you go that route, because you can't make Gilgamesh, which then lowers your searchability and all that with the deck. So that's just one thing that I did, and it's obviously a lot more budget version. And then for XCs, playing King Caesar is our rank 4. Now this one, the main effect you're going to be using with these is actually sending them to the graveyard, because when he's sent to the graveyard, you can add a Dark Contract from your deck to your hand. King Tell, you can just slap this on top of a King Caesar. Allows you to do some burn damage. And then if this is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send any DDD or Dark Contract from your deck to the graveyard. And then Wave King Caesar will allow you to, when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, that includes an effect that special summons a monster. You can detach one, negate it, and destroy it. And then you can make one other DD monster you control gain 1,800 attack. And then if he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can just simply search a Dark Contract from your deck to your hand. So he's a rank 6. So you can, probably the easiest way is just 2 Flame King Genghis, and then you can make a Caesar there. And then we play the 2 Machine X. You can just slap this on any DDD monster. And then really good effect, once per chain. When a monster card your opponent controls activates its effect, you can either detach 2 from this or just destroy a Dark Contract you control, and then you can attach that opponent's card to this card as material. And then during your standby phase, you have the option of placing this in your Pendulum Zone. And then he has a decent effect. You can just target a Pendulum monster you control in your graveyard, special summon the card in your other Pendulum Zone, and if you do, place a targeted Pendulum monster in your Pendulum Zone. So it's decent enough, but yeah, you pretty much just slap this on the any DDD monster you control, using it as material. And again, if you have Headhunt, that you stole one of your opponent's special summon monsters from the extra deck, you can then just put a Machine X on it, and then they don't get that card back. And then the final card that's not a DDD is AA Zeus, because you can make your Xyz so easily. Sometimes just making this is pretty much going to win you the game. So that's why I play that. It's just a win more card. But yeah, that's my fairly budget deck. I think at the moment, I'm not too sure because I've owned these cards for so long. Most of these are actually in the structure deck, so I don't know if you have that ability. But like I know this card jumped up like crazy, which is just a common in the structure deck. But yeah, even the new cards like Griffin is super cheap, but they're all very good. Most of these cards are very cheap, and then play whatever hand traps you want, but hand traps are super important for this deck for going second. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think, and we'll catch you on the next one.